Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to thank you all for joining us for our last Entrepreneur Speaker Series of the semester. I am Shanika Turner. I am an assistant professor of business administration here at Georgia Highlands College. I will be the moderator for the series, and at any time, if you have a question, you can put it in the chat or you can send it to me directly. And after we are done, after our speakers are done speaking, we will take questions at the end. Okay. So today we have a husband and wife who are doing amazing things in their respective fields. They are doing it all. They are managing a family while growing a successful business. When it comes to being a successful entrepreneur couple, it requires dedication, time, energy, and excellent communication skills. Our couple today embodies every single one of those concepts, and I'm thrilled that they are here today to talk about it. I'm going to introduce them both. Today we have Marcus T. Turner, originally from Indianola, Mississippi, and the agency owner of Marcus T. Turner and Associates. Marcus started his career with Liberty National Life Insurance Company in 2000 and quickly made a name for himself while within the industry as Rookie of the Year. Then he became Sales Manager of the Year in 2003 to 2007 and Top District Manager from 2007 to 2010. In 2011, he founded Marcus T. Turner and Associates, a firm that specializes in financial services as well as personal lines of property, casualty, and business insurance. Within a 5-year period, he grew to 3 locations, writing over $8 million in premiums, putting him at the top 1% within Allstate. Due to his rapid success and over 2 decades of experience in the financial services and insurance industry, Marcus started his own consultant firm to assist other financial service and insurance agencies on how to grow, manage, and develop teams with strong leadership and skills. He is committed to educating the community on the basic fundamentals of legacy continuity and management of their everyday risks while helping them to protect all of their valuable assets and developing agency owners to do the same. Marcus has recently expanded his reach to cover Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, and Illinois. That's an impressive bio. Now we have Dr. Dena Turner is a native of Aliceville, Alabama. She is a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and a 2019 Memphis, Tennessee top 40 under 40 urban elite professional honoree. She attended Alabama A&M University, where she received her Bachelor of Science degree, and Life University, where she received her doctorate of chiropractic degree. Dr. Turner started her career as an associate, practicing for 3 years alongside her mentor in a family-based chiropractic office. She then decided to take all that she had learned and incorporate it into the culture and overall mission of the Chiro Place. In March 2016, Dr. Turner founded the Chiro Place in her first location in Collierville, Tennessee. She has since set out to change health and wellness care and has since 2019 opened 2 more locations. This year, Dr. Turner, along with her husband, has expanded their brand even more by starting a logistics company and opening their 4th chiropractic location in South Haven, Mississippi. Dr. Turner and her team are on a mission within the communities they serve, helping all to live a more fulfilling life via the integration of corrective and wellness chiropractic care. What a pleasure it is to have both of them today. And I am so elated to have them share their entrepreneur journey with us. So Mr. Turner and Dr. Turner, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for such an amazing introduction, first of all.
Yes,
thank you.
Absolutely.
I was like, she talking about me? Thank you. Thank you.
So just to dive in, we'll start with diving in a little bit on our careers. And I know our bios gave a lot of information. So a little bit of the stuff that people don't see and don't hear about the not so pretty stuff, we do like to share that because we feel that entrepreneurship is a process. And as long as you stay steadfast, the results are possible. And that's one thing for us, you know, we've ran into roadblocks, detours, different things of those natures, but we just ultimately kept pushing. So to speak on chiropractic and for myself, I could probably poll a question of how many people actually go to the chiropractor, even just here on this Zoom meeting. And it would probably be very few. So I recognized that problem when I was in school and a little bit as I was working after school. So I decided to take that and use that as like my motivation. My ultimate goal with chiropractic was to educate the community, get the word out. And, you know, even just from a foundational, I'm from Alabama, so Southern Baptist, like all of that stuff. And my mom was a school teacher. So we learned a lot just even from history. And she would say, you know, education is key. So I took that and I'm like, well, let me educate people on chiropractic and see what the results are. So as I started doing that as an entrepreneur too, you can't be afraid to work. Everything, you know, you see a lot of entrepreneurs, you see the end result or the middle result. You don't see the beginning when they're the only one working, when they're up all times of the night or early in the mornings and doing the things that they now probably have a team to do. So when I started, I did a lot of marketing. And I was everywhere, literally. Gym, church, Walmart, any place that they would let me set up, I personally was there. And people were so amazed. They're like, oh, you're the doctor and you're here? Absolutely. My goal, my mission, and my purpose, I want you to see that as I'm moving. And so that within itself paid off tremendously for me. I was able to then take that, reinvest my money. So another key point here is reinvestment of your money as you start to make money. So as soon as I started to make money, my first thing was to put the money back into the business. And I always, like me and my husband talk about this often, one area that you can put money into that more than likely will not fail you is marketing, because marketing is going to bring in more revenue. So I decided to sacrifice hiring of employees, things of that nature, and I put a lot of money in marketing. And as I grew, my next investment was in a team. I hired people to do things that I didn't want to do, I didn't feel comfortable doing, or that I just felt my time was better used in other areas. But I still use myself a lot because I'm trying to grow a business. I wasn't paying myself 6 figures either. I was paying myself very bare minimum to get by and just really put in that work in the beginning to grow the chiro place. And from there, it just honestly took off. We grew so fast that we had to expand, and we went from 1 to 3 locations within the first 3 years. And then of course, our 4th location. Even within that process, I went through a lot of trials and tribulations from mainly, I can say I'm very blessed not to say I had problems with patients. I figured that part out, the marketing, the educator. My problem was more so with employees and team members and trying to handle the growth that came. And you can't grow by yourself, so you need team members. So that was another level of growth for myself. How do I work with people? How do I bring the best out of people so that we can get the results that we're looking for? So in saying that, continuing just to say that entrepreneurship is a process. You're going to grow in areas that you never even thought you needed to grow in or was important. Like, who knew that learning how to be patient, be understanding, and strategize through situations with other people was going to be one of the things that I needed to learn how to do the most to have such a large team. But that was one of the things the process took me through. As you grow in entrepreneurship, there's so many things that will come. I always say, if it don't break you, it'll grow you. And 9 times out of 10, it's not going to break you. It's going to grow you. So embracing that, not being too headstrong to where you're not willing to endure the experience. Another thing in entrepreneurship, mentorship. I really am an advocate for mentors. I believe when someone has already figured the way out, why recreate the wheel? If anything, make the wheel better, but don't go and try to make your own wheel. It just doesn't make sense. So with my mentor, I literally jumped on his coattail. Everything that he did, I did. I may have turned it up a little bit, add my own little spice to it, but I did the exact same thing. And what that showed, well, what it reminded me of, he was successful. So if he's doing this and he's successful, I will be too. And faith is another huge component when it comes to entrepreneurship. Because, I mean, you're really sometimes out on the island by yourself. No one understands your work ethic. No one understands what you go through. So you got to have really strong faith and believe in God and know that what you're doing is what you're supposed to do. That's going to give you that extra push and that extra stamina to really, really reach that point of success. Now, I'll be talking forever, but I'm going to give my husband the floor here a little bit, just to give a few key pointers and tell a little bit about your beginning process in entrepreneurship.
Well, I was about to say all of that, so I'm going to start from scratch. When I think about entrepreneurship, the first thing is confidence, because if you have a plan B, when it comes to you putting all of your eggs in one basket, again, in one basket, not saying I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this on the side, going to do this on the side. If you do that, you will only have sides. You only have a veggie plate from Piccadilly with no meat, just sides. If you do not believe that you can do it, no problem. You never will, because your family members won't support you. They'll support you when you get to a point where I'm past that level. I'm past just doing one policy. I'm past just doing an auto. Now I'm doing entire worlds. I'm doing financial services. I'm doing businesses with business owners, multiple states. And you just don't really not have time for those people. But in your career, you have surpassed that. You're not the ball boy anymore. You're Michael Jordan. So when you tell yourself, this is what I'm going to do, you literally have to put everything that you have in growing your business. If not, you would never maximize your potentials. Another thing is emotions. What is that? You work for a company, you can go in on 20%. You know what? You still have that $60,000 pay. Well, I'm in sales, so commissions. Well, what they do, salary. And or you may have a $20 per hour. In sales or entrepreneurship, who cares how you feel? Oh, the dog's sick. Okay, tell Fido to go sit in the corner. Oh, the kid's sick. Okay, well, I got the baby with me. Your mother's sick. That's okay. I have to continue to go and give it 100% every day. And the reason why is when you're an entrepreneur and you have associates or employees, these people trust in you and believe in you enough to know no matter what you're going through, you're going to make sure that my family is taken care of just as much as yours. And entrepreneurship, it's like a parent, not like a father or mother. You put everything first before you put yourself first. You're always last. So if you don't care about people, or if you don't have a passion in your business, you still won't be successful, because you can chase money and chase money and chase money. Yeah, money's good. Money opens up doors that we could never, ever enter without it. Is credit important? Yes. Is assets important? All these things are important. But if you have a passion for helping people, and the more you help, the more you're compensated, and the more you help people to allow themselves to follow their dreams and goals, along with dreams and goals that you have aligned for them, the sky's the limit.
And to piggyback off of that, purpose in entrepreneurship, to really wrap up everything in regards to what we both just said in that moment, you have to have purpose, know your purpose, and stand on your purpose. When you step into entrepreneurship, as my husband said, it's a different ball game. You're not sitting in a cubicle beside someone else with a job description laid out to you of what you're supposed to do, and you have a manager overseeing and holding you accountable. No, you make your own job description. You make your own hours of work. You have to have your own motivation and your own push, because if you don't do it, it doesn't get done. No one is gonna go as hard as you in your business or your entrepreneurship journey than you. And speaking on family, because my husband touched on that so politely, but oftentimes, I grew up both of us, very family oriented. I think that's the southernness in us as well, very family oriented. But my mom didn't understand my entrepreneurship journey. She understood, my mom was a teacher, so she understood education. Go to school, you get your education, everything else will fall in place. Okay. And also my mom was a salaried employee. So she liked that comfort. And so that's how she knew. So when I'm talking about being an entrepreneur, starting a business, taking this loan now and that loan, she couldn't understand that. So I had to respect that in her lack of support. She supported me because she believed in me as her daughter. I'm going to be great. But she didn't necessarily support me going, oh, you're a chiropractor, you're going to go start your own business. Baby, why won't you just work for someone? But that was all she knew, so I couldn't hold that against her. And the same with my husband, oftentimes as support in your business, you expect families to be the biggest supporters. He does insurance and financial services for all states. With that being said, you would think his family would be his number one customers. It doesn't always go that way. So be okay with others not supporting you. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's your dream. Entrepreneurship is yours. This is your journey that you have to go down. Can't no one else do it for you. And with that being said, another very important thing, which you agree, babe, when it comes to entrepreneurship and being motivated, you have to constantly pour into yourself.
Absolutely. And one thing I was thinking about while my wife was talking, entrepreneurship will have you to think more of yourself as far as the way you walk, the way you talk, the things that you do. And the reason why is because you have no tolerance for mess. If a friend or a former friend or partner or distant friend call me and they gossiping, I don't want to talk about this. You talk about God, my wife, our kids, or our family as far as enhancing and growing each other. I don't want to talk about it. And you have to surround yourselves around three types of people: the ones that you motivate, the ones that you all sharpen each other, and ones that motivate you. Because as a battery or alternator is utilized, it gets weaker. It gets weaker. The voltage get lower. So you have to be around people that's cheering you on. You have no time for any type of foolishness, because if you're not talking, it's good to have fun. I love to have fun. My wife, she's the fun police. Okay. If Marcus get to having too much fun, which I wake up in the morning, just high off life. And the reason why is, one thing about entrepreneurship, I think it's the next thing to jail to get you closer to God. Because if my wife is not in a mood that I want her to be in, if I'm doing a moonwalk and she ain't want to do a little chicken head, a little just head, I know that she's either doing two things. She's trying to move a chess piece, or she has captured the queen and she's trying to see how can she capture a bigger queen. So my point about friends and people that you are affiliated with, I've never seen an eagle hang out with a pigeon.
You can't.
You cannot.
That pigeon will only pull you down. And when my husband mentioned there's three types of people for you to be around, he did mention those that you motivate, but you have to be careful with those, because you can only pour into a person so much till they start pulling you down. So be very, very cautious of those that you have to motivate. You have to see progress. And if it's already hard for you to stay motivated, I honestly would eliminate those people that I have to motivate, because they're only draining you. In our circle that we're around, and we even travel with, we do so much with our other entrepreneurs. There are people that are in this grind with us, that's experiencing some of the same things that we're experiencing, and that's constantly having to motivate themselves. Even if we hop on in the morning, like my husband says, typically I'm waking up thinking, I'm strategizing, I'm doing this. He wakes up happy. And even we work together, you guys, in our corporate office. I have a room, all walls. I go in my room, I close the door. Like, I'm that type of worker and entrepreneur. He's a happy, bubbly, let's have a party. Listen to music, let's pop some champagne. What time is it? It's champ time. And it's just, it goes to show that there is multiple ways to do this thing, this entrepreneurship, but do what works for you and respect that in others. He respects how I work and how I move as an entrepreneur, and I do the same in him, as long as you're getting the results, So when you are figuring this whole life as an entrepreneur out, and you're trying to see, okay, well, what should I do? What shouldn't I do? That goes back to me when it comes to mentoring and surrounding yourself around people. See what it is that you like. See what it is that you think will work for you. Mimic it. There's nothing wrong with that. Back when we were kids, it was bad to kind of mimic people or to do what they do. No, if they're winning, I want to do what they do because I want to win too. And there's nothing wrong with that, and keeping that relationship going. And as I mentioned, traveling with other entrepreneurs is like when we are at the finest hotels. When you're with other people that are like-minded, it's like when we're there, we're looking at the customer service. We're looking at, oh, how can I get my team to do this? Or, oh, look at this guy. He got this on. I wonder what he do. Somebody go over, talk to him. We done developed a whole relationship. So it's like that constant pushing forward mindset and not that still mindset. You don't have time as an entrepreneur to have that still mindset. You got to be willing to climb and move to the next level.
But the thing about it, it becomes as natural as dreaming. We stayed at, bad with names, Oaks, Valley Oaks, whatever. No, that's what we give them something.
Post Oaks.
Post Oaks. I'm terrible with names, but I'm great with numbers in Houston.
And it was a great hotel.
Yes.
Level of customer service. And so a flip side to this, I'm a part of a management group, which when it comes to entrepreneurship, coaching is okay. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Now, when it comes to coaching, you want to make sure that you see the benefits of your investment. And in my management group, I like it because of the mindset that it gives me. So one thing that we do is at least 4 times out of the year, we'll have a conference in really, really nice places like the St. Regis in Miami, different places. And at first I was like, man, they got us spending money. But then I realized those experiences were purposed. In every moment as an entrepreneur, and it just had me thinking, even for myself with my team and everything that I do, you must be purposeful so you can continue this journey in an upward way versus just as an entrepreneur, you can't fly by the seat of your pants in life. Like you got to be strategic, you got to be purposeful, and you got to continue to push yourself in that direction.
Absolutely. And you also always have to know your next dream.
Mm-hmm.
Your next dream may be a different income stream within that organization. It may be something completely different, like we do real estate and logistics as well. But before you have another baby, you got to make sure that you can properly take care of your current baby. So this baby can't be 1 month old and you don't know how to fix the formula and you 6 months pregnant again. No, you have to really truly dive into that business, create systems and processes that's transferable. And your money now is not your money. I know you may want to go buy a drop top Ferrari, but it's not your money right now. You've only been in the business 2 years. You've only been there 2 years. So it's level. Invest that money back in your business, invest it back, utilize those funds and start another business or start another income stream. And there's no such thing as a passive business owner. Again, people will say all the time, especially social media, yeah, start a passive business. It's not passive. If you got to visit it and you have to spend 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes a day, it's not passive. It's not a secret bullet to hard work. Your levels of your work gets easier, but you will work more. And people sit back and they'll look at you as far as things that you're doing in life. And you have to constantly remind people, it's not easy, but would you trade it for anything? No, I wouldn't trade it. We wouldn't trade it.
And one thing that my husband mentioned, because as an entrepreneur, you have a set mindset, and it only sharpens and it gets better. Like as an entrepreneur, my creativeness has advanced since when I first started, because you move a certain way, you look for things and you look into things differently. Well, one thing you want to be really cautious of is making sure that you don't try to do too many things and never master anything. So as my husband mentioned, when you are an entrepreneur, be great at your one thing first. As you become great and that becomes stable, you have systems and processes in place to where you can pull out, because like you said, there's no such thing as passive income. You work in everything you do. It's just how much work depends on how strategic you are with your work. So when you can pull out and you're like, okay, well, all I have to do with this business is maybe check in once a week or this and another, then you can start looking into another business venture or something. But if you're in a business every day, you don't have time for another business. You're just gonna drive yourself crazy and you're not going to be productive. You're gonna start hating life. That's when you see people that are entrepreneurs and they're stressed out. They're not enjoying life. Now, don't get me wrong. You're gonna have tough times. That happens. But you shouldn't be in a constant fight or flight mode. Like it shouldn't be your day. You wake up to that. At one point in time, no joke, that's how I was with chiropractic. I literally went to sleep with my phone, woke up with my phone. My company was chaotic. I knew then that I couldn't grow like that. So me growing kind of fast was one of the best things that happened to me, although I'm very thankful at that time I was not married and I did not have kids, because I literally did chiropractic or the chiro place, the company, 24 hours a day. So once I got to the point of where I'm at now, where I am married, I do have a 4-month-old, I'm just so thankful that I don't have to go into the clinics to treat patients. My schedule is from 10 to 3 daily, and it's more so me doing virtual things and communicating with my team over virtual applications than me actually, and I can do that from home. If push came to shove, I could be at home with my baby and do the same thing. So I'm thankful for that, but you got to know where it is that you want to be, and you got to work the systems to get there, and it's possible, and continue to push in that manner so that you can set yourself up for the life that you're looking for. And that's the great thing about entrepreneurship. It gives you those opportunities. You can make a lot of money doing multiple things, and you sit on the beach in Miami and you are just checking reports and touching in with your CFO or, your manager here, your manager there. But you don't start there. There's levels to it. That's the ultimate level, and that's what you should shoot for and build towards. But no, at the beginning, you got to put in the work. In the middle, you got to put in the work. And still at the end, you put in the work, but it's not as much work as you did in the beginning.
And one thing, you're always working, because I thought about Miami. When I see like a 100-foot yacht or a 150-foot yacht or a certain type of car, pull up at a hotel we're staying, I think to myself, the life that you want or that you desire is built, and it's built day by day. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're looking forward to 5 o'clock for you to go home, that's not your time to go home. Or if you're in sales and you do not work on the weekends, or you do not work after 5, whatever production, whatever compensation you have now, congratulations. You don't have to get accustomed to anything new, because it's going to stay there. And the weekends, every day is a weekend, because you built this life. You want a dream car, and that's your thing? Your dream car should be every day. You want to say, I want to go to Orlando for Airbnb, create it, have it at home. Walk outside on your carport and have a home that's better than anything that you can go stay at. So whatever life you desire, it's hard work. And I'm different from my wife. I don't mind what I post. I don't mind what a person say, because I can look back at times when I had $13 in my pocket as an adult on a Wednesday, ready to get paid on a Friday. So if I had a smile then and a great attitude then, I got one now. I'm going to show people how God has truly blessed us. Every second I get, motivational, intended, it may come off a certain kind of way, but I'm just showing my life. I show the hustle and the reaping of the hustle.
And that goes back to the being purposed. I am very different than my husband when it comes to social media and just showing our life in some essence. But he does financial services. So if you do financial services, what you want to see? You want to see him winning.
You want to see them ran over shoes?
Yeah. Now with me as your doctor, and you want to see me winning as well. You don't want to see me on the corner, but I don't have to be in some areas as he does. So, and then I was just a little bit more reserved with my stuff than him. But just in saying that, you do have to be purposed. Now, one thing I wanted to touch in on for them was us talking about being married and being entrepreneurs. What's your thoughts on that? How has that been? We're newly married, well, 2 years in October, we'll have been married. Prior to us getting married, we both had our individual companies. We're both very successful individually. And then we got married. So I'll start since I'm already talking. So with that being said, for me, it was easy. It was refreshing because again, when it comes to entrepreneurship, it is somewhat like you're on an island by yourself. No one understands your work ethic. No one understands, well, why you got to do this and why you have to do that. I honestly didn't have time for that. So dating was very hard for me because if you question why was I doing something, I couldn't date you. I'm already dealing with enough. Like I needed someone to support me and believe in me and get behind me and help me push. So with finding that and finding someone else with just as much of a creative mind as myself, honestly, it was awesome for me. He understood. We have since collaborated on other businesses. We have our corporate office together where he has his team and I have my team from a corporate standpoint. The only thing about that is most of my team might want to work for him because he have a lot more fun than me.
That's not true. You said most.
Yeah, most of them.
No,
but it's okay though. We balance each other out in a lot of ways. And now I feel like that's where in the beginning it was exciting to see and refreshing to have someone doing the same thing that I was doing. I think we both was just in forward gear. We still are, but we've learned each other's strengths and weaknesses. And we've aimed to just, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, compliment, yes. We've aimed to complement each other in those ways. For example, my husband, with his financial services and insurance, he also does coaching. And so with that, I assist with some of the structuring or the things of that nature that for him, he just ain't got time for and just doesn't do. From my side, he's like marketing. I thought I was a marketing guru, but he's a marketing guru when it comes to just talking to people, networking, this and another. So he's constantly like referring this and another to the chiropractic side. So I feel it has only been a blessing being married to an entrepreneur and just being able to be here and help each other. What's your thoughts?
I'm going first on the next one. But anyway, and I thought about that earlier when you was talking. The person that you lay down with at night and wake up to in the morning, they can be your biggest cheerleader or your biggest booer. Again, the person that you, especially if married, if they cannot see your dreams and compliment your dreams, and vice versa, it's going to be a tough road to hoe. I'm from the country, so I take things in as far as reaping and sowing, etc. But it's very refreshing because sometimes you can talk to someone or be on a date with someone. You can be talking, and all you hear is Charlie Brown, mama, wah 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 wah. Or if it's 7 to 8 and something changed, or you're working late, you're getting up in the morning early. If that person is not on your level when it comes to that, trust me, I never seen a white glove clean soil. So if you're peering your actions as far as within your dreams and goals, that person is going to truly dirty your dreams up. And next thing you know, you're going to look up when you're 55, 60, or 70 with less resources that you would have had. You will not have the energy. You will not have the motivation. You're the only person to blame.
And speaking of like how great it can be and how negative it can be being with the wrong person, but how great it can be being with the right person is on the same level and pushing forward. My husband briefly mentioned, so we do logistics, but we recently, last year as well, started our real estate side of things. Now, first, it's like we did logistics before we even got married, didn't we?
You know what? And that was such a warm moment. We did a personal financial statement, and we were even equally yoked on paper.
But yeah, so we did our logistic business before we even got married.
Yes.
And it was easy, no brainer. He was like, hey, let's do this. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And we just went forward with then now to jump into real estate, and that's the thing. Like I said, as an entrepreneur, you have all these thoughts, you come across these opportunities. It's just being ready. So yes. For us, once it came, we got presented with an opportunity for real estate. And it was really a no-brainer because as an entrepreneur, you know, okay, it's a risk. We're risk takers. It doesn't make sense. We thought through it. It made sense. So it was a go. Now, imagine being married to someone who's not an entrepreneur. They work at 8 to 5. They're making 40,000. They're used to the set salary coming in. And you are talking about building a house that's $400,000, $500,000. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. All you're going to get is just pushback, 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 because their mind is just not ready for that. Whereas entrepreneurship, you're always moving the pieces, moving the dices, you know, shuffling things around to propel you to the next level.
Absolutely, because the thing about it, having your money in the bank, that's a risk. If you have 20,000, we took $17,000 and we got a contract on a home that we wanted to sell for $659,900. And if you don't have the capital, the assets, and the credit, that means the money is not your money. You need to put it up. You can't make your money employees. You chase your money first. People say don't chase money, cliche, blah, 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 blah. You better chase it. You chase your money and the purpose at the same time. And sometimes you got to chase your money, then you use your money to grow your purpose. So I always be motivated, I always be moving, always thinking of the next level.
And that's a key part to entrepreneurship, using your money to make more money. We get it, you know, so that's once again, like I said, a no-brainer. So when it came time for the real estate, we saw the money, how we could use that money to make more money. People that work and get the set salary, they're not using money to make more money. They're using their money to pay bills and monthly. And nothing is wrong with that. I remember, like, even think back to the difference in lifestyle of us and my parents. Like my mom, I saw her budgeting. I saw her doing this and I saw her doing that. For us, it's like, okay, we budget, but the goal is to use your money to make more money. So figuring out how to do those things.
Absolutely. And as far as emotions in a business or marriage, we have no gender roles as far as things that we do. I love to cook. Again, my side, especially my door, that way I can have a cigar and have to take a shower if I just have taken one. And I love to have a drink. So my wife, when it comes to the business, she has her strength and she usually the brains. I'm usually the one that go out and collect the money and look at the lots, and it doesn't matter who is the most skilled person in this position. That should be the person that should be handling it.
It's just what makes sense. As entrepreneurs, you get to that point. It's like, what makes sense? So even to think like the roles and gender. And for me, I'll tell my husband any day, like cleaning, cooking, I don't want to do it. I don't enjoy do it. So let me just go make more money so that I can pay someone to do those things. And that's okay. I learned that very early on as an entrepreneur. You pay people to do things that you do not want to do. And what you're great at, you do, and that's how you make your money. So for me, it's like, okay, let me create the lifestyle, the wealth that I need to pay people to do some of the things that I don't want to do. And I mean, it gets bad. Like I literally texted our cleaning lady the other day and we're like, okay, how can you drop our cleaners off, our cleaning clothes off and pick them up? Like, what will you charge me for that? Because I honestly don't have, me driving to do that is taking away 10 minutes from me strategically working through a project that I can make $10,000 on or something. So realizing that was another level of entrepreneurship, I think, for the both of us.
Same with me. We got a yard guy. I don't like to mow lawns. I don't need to have grass thrown in my face for me to think. I don't wash cars. I don't clean the pool. We have a handyman, and I change light bulbs with a ladder. My wife didn't know we had a ladder. And not because, I guess the thing about it is, for me to make more money, I just don't like to do it. It's not something I enjoy. But the thing about it is, anybody that does a service for us, they're also clients of ours. I feed your baby, you feed my baby. You wash my cars, I protect your house. You clean the pool, I protect your car. You cut the grass, you're an entrepreneur. I do your investments. I do your retirements. I do your financial services. So we just can't think right here. You know, take the lid off and just watch TV. You don't have to go to Miami. Look at people. Look at the Fresh Prince. Look how they live on TV. You don't have to travel to France to know that you can have a driver and all other things that you desire in life. Go ahead, baby.
But speaking on that, remember there's levels to it. So I know that we're such a social media generation, and you see all these things and people portraying different things on social media. Be very leery of the stuff that you see, because oftentimes it's not real. People that are really out here doing it don't even have time to do those things of the posting, and there's a lot to be posted.
Perfect angles.
Yeah, you really are not doing that. So you find yourself caught up in trying to be like someone that's really not that. And then you can get lost in the process versus really honing in on what your process should be. Yeah. Take your strides and move for you, not in comparison to anyone else. But that also goes back to that mentorship, where you have someone that is, and you know they're successful. That's who you mimic your life after. That's who you gain insight on. Is this a great business move? Or, should I hire this person? Or should I purchase this building or something like that? Those are the type of conversations, as well as the type of people that you want to make sure that you're modeling your life after, not what you see on social media.
All right, Mrs. Turner, I know that, my wife and I
we'll talk forever.
So I know you may be on everyone. We want to respect everyone's time. So we can open.
Yeah, I mean, we loved you talking. You gave us so many great nuggets today that I was even writing down some things so I can make sure that I tell my students. You definitely talk, and so the floor is open for questions. You can post them in the chat, or you can send them to me directly in the chat as well. And I love that you talked about mentorship, because we started a mentorship program for our entrepreneurship students. And I just kind of want you, if you could touch on maybe, because it is optional for students, like how do you think students should approach mentorship? Because it is option. So I try to tell the students, but they hear it from me every day. I'm like, hey, we have mentors available for you, do it. But what would you say to them, those that are trying to figure out if they want to get into the mentorship program or not?
I would say, don't even, like, mentally for yourself, if you want to be great, it's not an option, it's mandatory. You should have a mentor. Think about all the greats. Anybody that's great, I guarantee you they had a mentor. Me speaking for myself, when I associated for 3 years alongside my mentor and I left, he gave me his blessings. He came to my ribbon cutting. He checked everything out. I ran everything by him, numbers wise, any questions I had. To this day, when I have issues, I still go to him, because he's 15 years in the game. Things don't change. Everything under the sun is pretty much the same. Someone has experienced it, someone has done it, someone has tried it. So having a mentor is like easy access to a book, a playbook. Now, you can still determine what play you want to use, but they are an open playbook to what it is that you're trying to do. So I personally would not even make it an option for myself. I would be strategic in the mentor that I work with, making sure that it's someone that you mesh well with, someone that you can communicate well with, because communication is key. If you can't communicate with them, it's pointless. It's a pointless relationship. So communicate with them to get the best out of it and really nurture the relationship and grow it. And I guarantee it will be a stepping stone to your success. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, thank you for that. We heard a little bit about your story, Dena, about why you became an entrepreneur. Michael, why did you decide, when did you know you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
When I was in my junior year in my accounting class, he told me the average CPA makes $54,900 a year. And my mentors, they were in six figures. And this was back in 2000. And I knew right then, by being around them, I knew that there wasn't enough money for me. And it wasn't a passion. I didn't know my passion until I had my first death claim. A lady that I've been knowing all my life, they had adopted 6 kids. Her husband was a breadwinner. He died, and I wrote him a $200,000 policy. When she told me thank you, I didn't really catch it. Then another classmate of mine died, and she had 3 kids, and her brother came and articulated to me on how life insurance money can really have an impact on the family, that's when I knew.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. Because you talked a lot about helping people, and that being like your that's the priority of, if if you don't want to be in the business of helping people, then you shouldn't be an entrepreneur. Could you talk more about the importance of customer service?
Well, you can buy a product from anywhere. You can buy a steak from Chili's or a steak from Capitol Grill. The product will not keep you there. The people will keep you there. If you walk into a bank and they say, "Hi, Mrs. Turner, how are you?" "Oh, don't let me ask about the kids. How the kids doing?" You're like, "Man, they treat me like I got $1 billion in there." Versus going to a financial institution, "Hey, may I help you?" So customer service is key. And everything we do, you have to pull back layers. You have to dig deeper. Customer service, "Hi, how you doing?" That's good. Knowing your kids, that's another layer. Knowing something else about you, that's another layer. Knowing that you went on vacation last week, "How was your vacation?" "Oh, man, they really care about me." So even when you're not at your business and you're growing your business, people has to have that same concept of loving people and caring about people, and knowing that if it wasn't for those people, they wouldn't have a job.
Right. Exactly. I just love it. I love that you're pretty much confirming everything that I teach in class. And it's not just me saying these things, that, it's really successful entrepreneurs that are really living this story and telling, and really can speak on it and talk about it. So you talked about being creatives. How do you come up with new ideas for your business? Do you have a brainstorming, time, or like, do you just wake up, or like, how do you come up with all these new different ideas for your businesses?
For me, and I think there's different type of creators. You do have those that sit down and do brainstorming sessions. But we're both energy-wise more sporadic.
Yeah. He's all the time.
He's very sporadic. I'm a little bit more structured sporadic, if that makes sense. But it like you said, it's always coming up. You could be literally in a store and you see something happen, or customer service in some way, or somebody do something, and it sparks something in your brain. And then I jot down notes or something like that on what it is that came to me in that moment. And as you grow in entrepreneurship, you start knowing what those little intuitions are, and you start listening to yourself better and trusting yourself and really acting on those things.
Turning an opposition into an opportunity. You got two types of people: those that are complaining about the milk being on the floor, and those that make it easier to pick the milk off the floor, or create a way where wherever the milk came can be spillage proof. And usually those people are the same way in every arena and area of their lives. Either problem fixers or complainers and problem makers. And if we pass by an acre lot and it's just there, and we go half mile down the street and see an apartment complex or whatever it is, we always just look at opportunities in everything we see.
So growth mindset.
Exactly.
Always stay in a growth mindset.
Exactly.
Always.
Yes, that's something we definitely talk about, having a growth mindset, and that there's a difference between an entrepreneurial mindset and a manager mindset. It's totally different. So I love that you talked about all the different things that you do, that you continuously strive to add more things to your business, do more projects. And you said something like a still mindset, don't have a still mindset. And how do they create that? So let's say I think that, I know a lot of people think that entrepreneurs are born, but I feel like if you have a passion, that you can learn some of these assets. What do you say to students that, may not feel like they have the creative mindset that you all have, but they have that passion?
Pouring into yourself. It goes back to that aspect, and surrounding yourself around other entrepreneurs, or those that you want to be like. When you surround yourself around those creative thinkers and those that are always thinking about the next move, you innately start doing the same thing. Also, pouring into yourself and investing in yourself, doing conferences. We oftenly will go to like Grant Cardone conference, the 10X Growth Conference. those things to help push your mind to the next level. Even just listening to podcasts or different motivational things on YouTube. I mean, I had my different seasons. One time it was just strictly TD Jakes. Like I needed that faith. I needed to make sure that I knew that, you know, what I was doing, keep doing it. Then it went to Greg Cardone. I love him because he's a great business person and he has that just, he don't care mindset, and that's not me. And I knew that in some areas in business, you need to push yourself to where you don't care about the little things. And so I started listening to him more to really develop that within myself. So being intentional with your time, the things that you put or allow into you, and then the people you're around.
Absolutely. And with us being, our household being faith-based, when we get up in the morning, first thing we do is feed that spirit first. I know that's away from your question, but pointing to you. If you wait till 1 o'clock to pour into yourself, half the day is gone. Half the day is completely gone. And being an entrepreneur, you're not born to be an entrepreneur. It's a choice. It's truly a choice. That's when that confidence kick in. Everybody gonna cheer for you every day. You may walk in the store, they may not speak to you. You may go in the gym early in the morning, they may not speak to you. Your spouse may got something else on their mind. That's why you gotta have confidence within yourself, and that's why you have to esteem yourself. If your locomotive smoke is low, you gotta put your own coals in. Because when the curtains close and it's dark and it's just you being creative, nobody's there but you and God. So you got to make a choice and say, I want to set the pace instead of manage system. That's the difference between a manager and an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur creates the systems and processes and teaches a manager on how to manage it. While he going to another one, he created different managers. He created different shift leaders. But back to your question, it's a choice.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, again, you guys are just giving us so much great information. I wanted to ask you, are there any mistakes that you made that you wish you didn't make, or that you learned from that really helped you in your career? Because I always tell students that it's okay to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. Things happen, especially with being risk takers. So can you talk about, possibly, making mistakes, and how did you learn from that? How did you move on from that?
I was a rookie in NBA, and I tried to hang with Michael Jordan. He made LeBron makes $43 million a year. I'm making $2 million. When my partners I was making 80, and they were in their 200s or 300s or 400s. When they went somewhere, I thought I could roll with them. And I wasn't ready for that yet. Like you said, baby, it wasn't my time. There's levels to it. And no one told me, man, sit down somewhere and put your money back. This ain't your money. All this money is not your money today. And just having somebody tell me, you don't have to roll every time they roll. So money management, till one time, my mother asked me for $100 and I didn't have to give it to her on a Thursday. And I sat down for 4 months and didn't go out. I said, if it's 100 people in line, if I'm not able to get everyone in, I wasn't going, because my mother sacrificed so much for my sister. Now, she has the same name as you, Shanika Turner, and I named her.
Oh, that's amazing.
I said that was the most hurtful feeling in the world for me, not to be able to give a mother $100 that sacrificed so much for me. And there was a turning point to say, you know what? I'm not ever going to be in a position where I can't take care of my family. My mother, she don't want me to take care of her, but $100. And that was the turning point with me saying, you know what? Just make enough money, because budgeting doesn't help. I'm gonna stop drinking Starbucks. Man, then the $60 ain't gonna do nothing for you. That's $700 a year. What it's gonna do? That's a pair of shoes. So just make enough money. Go ahead, babe.
For me, it was more so bad decisions when it came to, like, for instance, growth and finding contractors and going the cheaper route. So, or doing a build out for a clinic. And I had this one contractor that outbid everybody else by like 30, 40,000. So of course I went with them because I was being cheap in the beginning, didn't know any better. Well, that particular contractor jacked the whole job up to the point I had to then pay over 50,000 for somebody to come back in and fix the problem. And those things happen because how would I have known that he wasn't legit? You know, I just made a decision off of what was cheaper because I was being cheap. Entrepreneurship, sometimes you do that. And what I would say when it comes to any mistakes, one, making it a learning experience. My motto is if it didn't break me, then it was supposed to be a learning experience. So in all of those different experiences, even like I hired a consultant once to come in and do something, and they said they were going to do all this and that and another, jipped me out about $10,000. And if I was barely making it, it could have broke me, but we were doing very well. So it was another learning experience. So once again, staying in that growth mindset. And, you know, when it comes to breaking you, some things can break you financially, some things can break you mentally and in that way. So it didn't break me financially is really what I'm honing in on. But the mental part also is very key because those things could have easily stopped me on my path of progression. It could have stopped me from wanting to do more clinics, and I would have stayed at just having 2 clinics. But I looked at it from a growth mindset and just continued to push because I knew those things were going to happen. And my mentor, he told me, oh, those things happen. Those things have happened to him.
Wow. Yeah. I love that you mentioned your mom. My mom's on, she always comes to all of my speaker series. Hi, Mom. She's in there.
Hi, Mom.
I love that you said, and my husband too. My husband's our biggest supporter.
What's up, brother Jared? How you doing, man?
But I love that that was your turning point. Wow. That was really inspirational that you said, you know, you knew that you wanted better. I love that. We have some comments in the chat, and I just want to read them before we wrap up. This comes from an entrepreneur student. They answered my question. I just want to thank them for speaking and confirming some of the challenges I have faced as I transition. The reassurance that what I am doing is right. I am a current entrepreneur and I'm building a management and production business that I have been so excited about. I wake up every day thinking of new innovative ways to grow my business. It's good that I am not alone. That was from a student. And then another student said, I really enjoyed listening to this. I personally thank you for making this happen. Well, that was me, but thank you so much. And they really want to thank you for being here and giving all the great information that you all did. And on that note, I want to be respectful of everyone's time. I want to thank you both for this amazing event, this speaking event. It was great. As you see, you're getting kudos there in the chat. They really enjoyed you. I enjoyed you. I definitely will be uploading this to our website. I'm not gonna ask for an answer now, but I did want to throw out there we are having a leadership conference in October. So I probably will be speaking to you to maybe possibly come down and be speakers for us in October here for our college. We would love to have you. So I'm just going to put that out there now. Another thing you did mention, oh yes, thank you for putting that in there. Yes, and you mentioned that you listen to podcasts. Just a little note, this series is turning into a podcast now. So starting in next semester, I will be having a podcast. That way I can speak to a lot more entrepreneurs and have more in-depth conversations. So hopefully that I'll become one of those podcasts that is very influential and important to upcoming entrepreneurs. Again, I thank you all for coming. This is our last series of the semester. Again, thank you, Mr. Turner and Dr. Turner, so much. And everyone, I hope everyone has have a wonderful day, and thank you all for attending. And that concludes our event. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Have a great one.
Thank you.
That's not the limit.
Bye.